After studying this module, you shall be able to understand the concept of EXIM policy, identify the objective of EXIM policy, evaluate role of EXIM policy in enhancing exports of India, role of EXIM policy in the development of an economy. According to absolute cost advantage theory, each country should produce those goods which it has absolute advantage. That is, the goods can be produced at the lowest cost. But that ideal situation exists very rarely or particularly doesn't exist. Each and every country of the world is dependent on each other in one or other way. No country is self-sufficient in the world. Therefore, it becomes necessary for every country to import and export goods. Several factors like cost, political factors, and economic factors play an important role in the determination of the patterns of import and exports. But importing foreign goods from other countries may affect domestic industries adversely, and this is the reason behind why many countries in the past had imposed heavy tariffs to restrict imports. On the other hand, exports always give boost to the domestic industries, and therefore countries like to provide incentives to increase the level of the export in the country. Therefore, EXIM policy, that is, export and import policy, refer to the policy measures adopted by a country in relation to its exports and imports. These kind of policy measures are vital for every country, but its importance increases for developing country like India, as import and export plays an important role in achieving the budget targets and overall economic development of the economy. Another name for EXIM policy is foreign trade policy. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India announces EXIM policy for the period of 5 years. EXIM policy is updated every year on 31st March and becomes effective on 1st of April after including all the amendments and suggestions. EXIM policy includes rules relating to the export and imports, tariff structures, export promotion schemes, provision relating to the special economic zones and other sectors. The Government of India also releases the handbook of the procedures detailing the procedures to be followed for each of the schemes mentioned in the EXIM policy. In the year 1962, the Government of India constituted a special EXIM policy committee to review previous policy of export-import. On 12th April 1985, committee headed by Mr. V.P. Singh pronounced the new EXIM policy of India. Initially, EXIM policy was launched only for the period of 3 years, with the main emphasis to export business in India. EXIM policy aims at achieving foreign trade creation and creating constructive balance of payments. The provision, rules and regulations of EXIM policy are applied to all those involved in the commercial trade through the export and import of the items. Export and import plays crucial role in the development of the economy. The main aim is to accelerate the country's transition to a vibrant economy and leading global player with the view to derive maximum benefit from any expanding global market opportunity. Now, let us learn about the objectives of the EXIM policy. In the earlier time period, trade used to be an end. But in the present scenario, trade cannot be called an end in itself, but it's a mean to achieve most important objective of an economy, that is, economic growth and economic development. Therefore, the principal aim of EXIM or foreign trade policy is not only to earn foreign exchange, but to give boost and encouragement to those economic activities that can accelerate economic growth. The root of EXIM policy of India lies in this belief and therefore revolves around two main objectives: to make continuous increase in the country's percentage share of global products, to work as an effective tool to increase level of economic growth and increasing level of employment. Other subsidiary objectives are as follows: to achieve higher level of export of goods and services, to increase percentage of global market share, to provide a wide variety of foreign high quality goods to domestic customers, to create healthy competition and a level playing field for domestic producers, to provide access to essential raw materials, intermediates, components, consumables and capital goods required for increasing production of the goods and services, to provide technological support, strength and efficiency to different sectors of the Indian economy like agriculture, industry and services with an objective to improve competitiveness of Indian products in the global markets, to generate new employment opportunity, to motivate and creating an environment towards an attainment of the internationally accepted standards of quality, to promote competitiveness of Indian industry, to promote import substitution and self-reliance of Indian industry, to hasten the economy from low level of economic behavior to high level of economic activities by making it a worldwide oriented vivacious economy, and to receive utmost benefit from the escalating global market opportunities, to produce new services, opportunity and support the accomplishment of the internationally accepted standards of quality. For achieving the objectives of EXIM policy, the following strategies need to be adopted: relaxing level of controls and creating an atmosphere of trust and transparency to encourage businessmen, industrialists and traders to invest in the Indian economy. Simplifying the procedures of import and exports, making effort to bring transaction cost down, lowering down duties on inputs used in the export products, making efforts to present India as a global hub for manufacturing, trading and services, identifying areas which would help in generating additional employment opportunities, especially in semi-urban or rural areas, which are considered backward and don't generate employment opportunities. Encouraging technological and infrastructure upgradation of all the sectors of Indian economy with the help of import of capital goods and equipment, thereby increasing productivity and making Indian goods according to the internationally accepted standards of quality. Take initiative to make embassies as a key player to increase exports. EXIM policy 2010-2015 is being considered a roadmap for the development of India's foreign trade status. It has given certain basic principles and has provided the direction that goes towards the path of development. The basic truth is that a single trade policy cannot be fully comprehensive in all aspects. Therefore, it becomes necessary to modify the EXIM policy from time to time. The EXIM policy has been introduced with the objective view to double the percentage share of the global trade within 5 years and creating new employment opportunities, specifically in semi-urban and rural areas, where it has been identified that to increase the condition of the Indian foreign trade, special focus should be on agriculture, handlooms, handicrafts, gems and jewelry and leather sectors. Let us discuss the EXIM policy 2015-2020 in detail. Indian government wants to present India as friendly destination for manufacturing and exporting goods with the help of new EXIM policy 2015-2020. Following are the highlights of the foreign trade policy 2015-2020. First, Merchandise Export from India Scheme, MEIS. 5 different schemes like Focus Product Scheme, Market Linked Focus Product Scheme, Focus Market Scheme, Agri Infrastructure Incentive Scrip for rewarding merchandise export with different kind of duty scrip depending upon varying conditions attached to their use. Under EXIM policy 2015-2020, all these sectors have been merged into the single scheme known as the Merchandise Export from India Scheme without any predetermined conditions. The salient feature of MEIS are as follows. Certain notified goods like dairy products, vegetable, confectionery, pharmaceutical products, capital goods, etc. exported on and after 1st April 2015 to notified markets or countries are given a benefit ranging from 2% to 5% of FOB, that is free on board value of export, or FOB value realized, whichever is less. If goods have been exported through courier or foreign post office using e-commerce, then benefit of up to FOB value of 25,000 Indian rupees is provided. For the payment of custom duty, excise duty and service tax, MEIS scrip can be inter alia used. The additional duty of custom, excise duty, service tax is allowed adjustment as Senvet credit or drawback as per the Department of Revenue rules. Benefit of MEIS has been extended to SEZ's unit except for free trade warehousing zone units. Second, Service Exports from India Scheme, SEIS. Served from India Scheme, SFIS, has been replaced with the Service Export from India Scheme, SEIS. SEIS shall apply to service providers located in India instead of Indian service providers. It means SEIS shall provide rewards to all service providers of notified service who are providing services from India, irrespective of the constitution or profile of the service provider. The rate of reward under SEIS shall be based on the net foreign exchange earned by the service provider. There will be no restriction on the uses of scrips, that is, free transferability and usability of all type of goods and services. Debits would be eligible for Senvet credit or drawback. Third, incentive to SEZ. EXIM policy has extended to all incentives available to MEIS and SEIS to SEZs. Fourth, duty credit scrips to be freely transferable and usable for the payment of custom duty, excise duty and service tax. There would be no restriction on the transferability of the scrips issued under MEIS and SEIS and the goods imported against these scrips. If any scrip has been issued under the export category from any of the India schemes, then the scrip can be used for the following purposes: to make payment of the custom duty for import of the inputs or goods, including capital goods, except items listed in the Appendix 3A. To make payment of the excise duty on the domestic procurement of the inputs or goods, including capital goods as per the Department of the Revenue notification. To make payment of the service tax on the procurement of the services as per Department of the Revenue notification. If inputs has been imported for the purpose of the export, then the basic custom duty paid in cash or through debit under duty credit scrip can be taken back as duty drawback as per the Department of the Revenue rules. Fifth, status holders. The term status holders will be given to all those business leaders who have excelled in international trade and have contributed to the country's foreign trade, with the objective to reduce transaction cost and time. All the status holders shall be given special treatment and privileges to facilitate their trade transactions. New nomenclature of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star export house has been introduced respectively for export house, star export house, trading house, star trading house, premier trading house certificate. A new criteria has been introduced to give recognition of the status holders on the basis of export performance. FOB or FOR converted in US dollars million during current and previous 2 years. 1-star export house, $3 US million. 2-star export house, $25 US million. 3-star export house, $100 million US dollars. 4-star export house, $500 million US dollars. 5-star export house, $2,000 million US dollars. In order to provide a boost to Make in India, the following provision have been made in the EXIM policy. They are: first, reduction in the export obligation EO for domestic procurement under EPCG scheme. In order to promote domestic capital goods manufacturing industry, rate of the specific export obligation under EPCG scheme has been reduced from 90% of to 75%. Second, higher levels of rewards under MEIS for export items with the high domestic content and value addition. More rewards have been proposed for the goods with the high domestic content and value addition, and less rewards to those products with the high import content and less value addition. Third, online filing of the documents or applications and paperless trade in 24/7 environment. It has been given under EXIM policy 2015-2020 that digital signatures on the documents of the chartered accountant, company secretary, cost accountant is a compulsion. In the new system, it will be possible to upload online documents like annexure attached to ANF 3B, ANF 3C and ANF 3D, which are at present signed by these signatories and submit physically. Hard copies of the applications and other specified documents would not be required to be submitted to RA, saving paper as well as the cost and time for the exporters. Landing documents of the export consignment as proofs for the notified market can be digitally uploaded in the following manner. Exporters may upload the scanned copy of bill of entry under his digital signature. Status holder belonging to the category of 3-star, 4-star or 5-star export house may upload scanned copies of the documents. Fourth, online inter-ministerial consultations. EXIM policy proposes to have online inter-ministerial consultations for the following purposes in the phased manner. Approval of the export of SCOMET items, norms fixation, import and export authorizations. The objective of the introduction of online interministerial consultation is to reduce time for the approval. After this, there would not be any need to submit hard copies of the document for these purposes by the exporters. Fifth, simplification of the procedures or processes, digitization and e-governance. Previous rule of EPCG scheme of obtaining and submitting a certificate from an independent chartered engineer confirming the use of spares, tools, refractory and catalyst imported for final redemption of EPCG authorization has been dispensed with. The period of maintaining record by EPCG authorization holders has been reduced from 3 years to 2 years. Facility of exporter-importer profile has been created to upload required documents in exporter-importer profile. Due to this service, there will be no need to submit copies of the permanent records or documents. Example, IEC, manufacturing license, RCMC, PAN, etc. repeatedly with each application once uploaded. In IEC database, certain information like mobile number, email address, etc. has been added as a mandatory fields. These fields have been added to provide better communication facilities with the exporters. The service of online message with the CBDT and MCA has been provided under EXIM policy. To have faster and paperless communication with committees of DGFT, dedicated email addresses have been provided to each norms committee, import committee and pre-shipment inspection agency for faster communication. Sixth, new e-governance initiative. Following EDI initiatives has been taken by DGFT. Message exchange for transmission of export reward script from DGFT to customs. Bill of entry import details from customs to DGFT. Issuance of export obligation discharge certificate EODC through online. Message exchange with Ministry of Corporate Affairs for CIN and DIN, CBDT for PAN. Application fee can be paid using debit card or credit card. Open API for the submission of IEC application. Mobile applications for FTP. Seventh, new initiative for EOUs, EHTPs and STPs. For the optimum utilization of available infrastructure facilities and duplication of efforts, EOUs, EHTPs, STPs have been allowed to share infrastructure facilities among themselves. To reduce cost of transportation, other logistic costs and to maintain effective supply chain, inter-unit transfer of the goods and services have been allowed among EOUs, EHTPs, STPs and BTPs. To reduce lead time for the delivery of the goods, EOUs have been allowed facility to set up warehouses near the port of export. To develop skill of their employees, STP units, EHTP units, software EOUs have been allowed the facility to use all duty-free equipments, goods for the training purposes. 100% EOUs units have been allowed facility of supply of spares, components up to 2% of the value of the manufactured articles to the buyer in the domestic market for the purpose of after-sales services. Eighth, duty exemption. Imports against advanced authorization shall also be eligible for exemption from transition product specific safeguard duty. In order to encourage manufacturing of capital goods in India, import under EPCG authorization scheme shall not be eligible for the exemption from the payment of anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty and transitional product specific safeguard duty. 12th, additional ports allowed for export and import. Calicut Airport, Kerala and Erakonam, ICD, Tamil Nadu have been notified as registered ports for import and export. 13th, duty-free tariff preference scheme. India has already extended duty-free tariff preference to 33 least developed countries across the globe. This is being notified under FTP. 14th, quality complaints and trade disputes. In an endeavor to resolve quality complaints and trade disputes between exporters and importers, a new chapter, namely Chapter on Quality Complaints and Trade Disputes, has been incorporated in the foreign trade policy. For resolving such disputes at a faster pace, a Committee on Quality Complaints and 18 Trade Disputes CQCTD is being constituted in 22 offices and would have members from EPCs, FIEOs, APEDA and EICs. 15th, Visakhapatnam and Bhimavaram added as a town of export excellence. Government has already recognized 33 towns as export excellence towns. It has been decided to add Visakhapatnam and Bhimavaram in Andhra Pradesh as town of export excellence, product category seafood. Let us discuss the role of EXIM policy in the development of the nation. If India wishes to become a major player in the world trade, then all encompassing comprehensive view needs to be taken for the overall development of the country's foreign trade. Imports and exports both have vital importance in an economy. On one hand, exports are required to encourage economic growth to have global presence. But on the other hand, imports are also required to stimulate our economy. Coherence and consistency among trade and other economic policies is important for maximizing the contribution of such policies to development. Thus, while incorporating the existing practice of enunciating an annual foreign trade policy, it is necessary to go much beyond and take an integrated approach to the development requirements of India's foreign trade. International trade is nothing but an extended version of internal trade. Trade between two countries is simply known as international trade. A single region within a country cannot produce everything it needs by itself. One single economy cannot produce every commodity according to the need of the citizens all by itself. The reason behind this could be anything like differences in the availability of the natural resources, skills of people, etc. Foreign trade is a great source of dissemination of technical knowledge, transmission of ideas, and import of know-how or skills, managerial talents, and entrepreneurship. Foreign trade also plays an important role in bringing foreign capital in the economy. Therefore, it becomes advantageous for the country to indulge in the trade with other countries by exporting those commodities which it produces cheaper in exchange for what others can produce at the lower cost. Inward and outward movement of the goods and services through international trade results in outward and inward flow of foreign exchange also. In that sense, it can be said foreign trade can have a profound impact on the growth of the economy in terms of production, employment, technology, resource utilization, and so on. Foreign trade has been one of the most significant determinants of the economic development in the country. In the past few decades, international trade has become a vital part of the economy's development strategy, and it can be an effective instrument of the economic growth, employment generation, and poverty elevation in an economy. Therefore, FTP 2015-2020 includes different new initiatives, provisions and procedures to provide better condition and ease in the foreign trade. The objective of the EXIM policy is to achieve or increase the annual level of the country's export to $900 billion by 2020. The achievement of this target will make foreign trade share of Indian economy from 2% to 3.5% in 2020. Vision of new FTP 2015-2020 is to increase our foreign trade through MEIS and SEIS scheme. Various new initiative has been introduced to provide ease in trade and in procedure. Let us summarize our discussion so far. Each and every country of the world is dependent on each other in one or the other way. No country is self-sufficient in the world today. Exports always give a boost to domestic industries, and therefore countries like to provide incentives to increase the level of export in the country. EXIM policy, that is export and import policy, refers to the policy measures adopted by the country in relation to its exports and imports. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, announces EXIM policy for the period of 5 years. EXIM policy includes rules relating to exports and imports, tariff structures, export promotion schemes, provision relating to the special economic zones and other sectors. The provision, rules and regulations of the EXIM policy are applied to all those involved in the commercial trade through the export and import of items. The main aim is to accelerate the country's transition to the vibrant economy and a leading global player with the view to derive maximum benefits from any expanding global market opportunity. The principal aim of the EXIM or the foreign trade policy is not only to earn foreign exchange but to give boost and encouragement to all those economic activities that can accelerate economic growth. The root of EXIM policy of India lies in this belief and therefore revolves around two main objectives, like to make continuous increase in the country's percentage share of the global products and to work as an effective tool to increase level of economic growth and increasing level of employment. Indian government wants to present India as a friendly destination for manufacturing and exporting goods with the help of new EXIM policy 2015-2020. Under new EXIM policy 2015-2020, two schemes have been introduced, MEIS and SEIS. EXIM policy proposes to have online inter-ministerial consultations. FTP 2015-2020 includes different new initiatives, provisions and procedures to provide better condition and ease in the foreign trade. Vision of new FTP 2015-2020 is to increase our foreign trade through MEIS and SEIS scheme.